this morning. All right, starting from the top, APC, Plateau Speaker, lock horns over swearing in of new lawmakers. More drama on the Plateau, politically speaking, as things continue to unfold. Japa, we have interviewed 180,000 Nigerians this year, according to the United States Embassy. And I think they said, was it around 3,000 or 4,000 or thereabout of students and things like that. But also, we've been hearing some, disturbing developments about how life is almost, a lot more difficult overseas for Nigerians who are going there. So there are a lot of people who are japaring without the necessary, plans, without, asking the necessary questions. But also, this sign posts how Nigeria has become rather uncomfortable for Nigerians, Sumaya, and that's why this is becoming a phenomenon now that we have to deal with. And some of these are experienced professionals that we need in this country: doctors, nurses, teachers, engineers. And unfortunately, this is this has been going on for quite some time now. Check on the latest figures from the U.S. Embassy's report on page 35 on the pages of the Daily Trust newspaper for today. To security-related matters on page 3 months after, no clue on whereabouts of abducted Zamfara University students. And that leaves, many Nigerians not only frustrated, but it just doesn't make any sense that people could go missing or be in captivity. I mean, the Dapchi and Chibok girl situation is also a very good example.
Let's not forget that young boy in the primary school, Bethel's,
or the Ayuba in Plateau. Yeah,
about 2 years.
And it just doesn't show the urgency on the part of the government to make sure that this is not going to be accepted.
Hence why people are going to that Japa.
Yeah, exactly. Because security is very important. And if you cannot guarantee the safety and security of your ward, going to school and then coming back, why send him to school in the first place? Because his security and safety is paramount. Okay, the big story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper today speaks to the ongoing COP28 summit in the United Arab Emirates, and it says outrage over Nigeria's 1,414 delegates to COP28 summit. Now here are some of the riders. Atiku says Tinubu has turned climate change conference to Owambe, and I think that's an oversimplification and a bit below the belt, but also that's what political opponents or critics usually do. But others like Obi also say it's waste of resources. It's outrageous, insensitive, according to some CSOs. Government-funded contingents less than 100, according to the presidency. PDP demands refund of Esther codes, asks National Assembly to investigate delegation. I think it is important for our own sanity because it doesn't make sense. We all seem to be in agreement that we don't have money to be frivolously spending, but then when you see certain actions, you scratch your head and where's the money going to come from to pay for A, B, C, and D? What is the president's delegation to the UN General Assembly or this one? But we're also hearing that some of them are sponsored by international NGOs, some of them are CSOs, so not all of them are likely on the federal government's payroll, but they all have to fall under the Nigerian contingent. Anyway, we hope to hear the proper response and full details of that. But 1,411 is too much for a delegation to be sponsored by a government. I don't know, it doesn't matter how important the issue is, but this is just one too many people.
Indeed.
More on this on page 4. Trust TV wins Media House of the Year award. Once again, congratulations to Trust TV. Federal Inland Revenue Service grants waivers on tax penalties, liabilities. NSCDC personnel brutalize Anambra journalists, say media is Nigeria's problem. Story on page 21. And this signpost, again, why we are seen as the enemy. Because we professionals stand against secrecy, stand against injustice, inequality, and all of these things because we bring it to light. And the people who are perpetrating this injustice or impunity don't want you to shine a light on their activities, so they think you're the problem. And unfortunately, this journalist, is at the receiving end of this brutalization. But I do hope that the attention the media is putting on this development also sends a clear message that journalists will not stand for the intimidation, the harassment, or the extrajudicial actions of people in uniform, because we all are supposed to channel our energy for the growth and development of this country. UBA wins big at the Bankers Awards. And more on the Israel-Palestine war. 700 Palestinians killed as Israel renews Gaza bombardment. Pope Francis seeks new ceasefire deal. Gulf countries' diplomats meet in Doha. And the catastrophe continues to multiply. But these are some of the stories you can follow and track on the pages of the Daily Trust newspaper for today.
All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. Over 60 refinery licenses inactive 18 years after its fuel import thrives. This is the major story on the Guardian newspaper this morning. We have Intel's waived $193 million debt to resolve pilotage crisis, according to NPA. Kano uncovers diversion of palliatives and vows to punish the culprits. You find this on page 28. There is a bit of what Guardian newspaper tends to do, saying the process about intention to build despite receiving licenses, and there is a bit of about a breakdown on how everything is going on. So if you want to find how they plan to share the 2.3 mbpd of oil proposed to be refined by the about 62 license holders, and then most of this you'd find them on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Below that, we have teachers hold Subeb boss hostage and disrupt aptitude test in Duce. And
why did they do that?
I mean, it's something that we need to, pick the
I believe it's got something to do with him not doing the needful to do it, because it's uncharacteristic of teachers to do that. Teachers are not the aggressors, but to see them protest in this way, which I think is likely what happened, it just means that Subeb as a board itself or the man in charge is not doing something to... I
mean, Abdul, you just need to sit with these teachers individually, and then you would hear the lot of atrocities going on.
Sometimes you don't need to hear anything. You look at a typical Nigerian teacher and his looks tells you the entire story.
Indeed. All right, we have reject Wike's 15 billion naira befitting residents for VP. Sarab urges the Senate. NJC to select about 11 new Supreme Court judges by Wednesday. Failed road, female passenger dies, 2 injured in Lagos tanker accident. Knocks trail the federal government's large delegation to COP28, alleged waste of resources. Now, these are some of the stories that you would find on the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Yeah, let's take a look at Business Day now to wrap it up on the newspaper review for today. And Business Day, as always, a few headlines in between. How celebrities fuel Nigeria's gambling epidemic. Oh, I'll be happy to read that one. Tinubu's outsized COP28 delegation cost 880 million naira to fly. You want to put a number to it?
We're talking about only
that is your number, 880 million. And I hope in the pages of the Business Day, you get to see the breakdown, of course, a full list, because I've seen some celebrities there who apparently were invited by the federal government to attend COP28. Many on delegation are idle, according to Peter Obi. Of course, if there are 1,111 or 411 of you, I don't think there's going to be tasks for everybody to do. Presidency defends large delegation, right? And in other news, Rufai plans $100 million venture capital in private sector return. Good for him. Federal government set to begin disbursement of presidential grants and loans to businesses. All right, more on the pages of the Business Day for today.
All right.
Join us this morning to unpack it. The one and only Dr. Theophilus Abba of the Daily Trust Foundation is here with us this morning. Good morning, Doctor. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you very much, and I want to say congratulations to Trust TV.
Yeah, congratulations to all of us.
The television station of the year, is that not?
Right.
So, congrats.
Thank you very much and congratulations to all of us once again. First of all, let's get this one out of the way because everybody is talking about it. The papers are covering the story. The ongoing summit in the UAE is about climate change, it's about climate action, it's about addressing rising global temperatures. But in Nigeria, we're talking about our big delegation. That is the one that is stealing the headlines. Your thoughts on this one? We have as many delegates as China going into this summit.
Well, when I saw the number and I think I went to the list and I discovered that, look, so many of them were either government officials. There's the way they designated them because this year's COP, I think 28, you know, they identified almost everyone that participated. I mean, where you are coming from, your name, what you do, blah, 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 and a whole long list of Nigerians whose designation were related to government. So when government says only 100, you know, let me tell you, there are about 136 media persons at that event, and only about 38 of them, you know, only about 38 of them come from the media that we know. But there's a crowd that claims to be media, delegate, let me use that word. But then only about 36, where you can hear.
The ones we can easily identify.
Those that can say these are actually the media people, they're only about 36. And from what I know, you know, some journalists who cover climate change issues, you know, were nominated or sponsored by organizations. When we are told that some organizations sponsor people, we know journalists who are sponsored, but there are not many of them. I don't think they are more than 20 who are sponsored by diverse organizations. So it's an issue, and if you look at the amount, what it costs to fly these people, you know, to fly them to Dubai, I mean, it's not less than 2 million per person. You know, maybe return ticket will not be less than 5 million.
The business day is talking about 880.
It's a whole lot of money. And when I saw the list, you know what occurred to me? I feel that, well, it's an opinion, and maybe I should not air it, but I think some persons are not telling us the truth. When we are told that there's no money, and this is happening. You understand? When people are suffering, people are dying, you know, people are trekking, people sleep in offices, you know, because they can't afford the transport to go home, and you are wasting this money, and you are telling them there's no money. It doesn't add up. Sincerely, it doesn't add up.
Nigerians are quite confused, you know, especially when it comes to why we need that large number in Dubai. Could it be because of, you know, the restriction? People have missed the UAE, and that's why there's this large number.
But of course, they are Nigerians.
Yes, indeed.
Of course. So if there's this restriction, you know, and of course, they are, so if the issue have affected them, I don't know why the UAE.
I mean, it's a global summit, so maybe because it's a UN event, they get the diplomatic pass to attend.
Yes, but what advantage is this? Right. If you look at these climate change issues, you know, we know that the emission that Nigeria, contributes is less than 5%. It's less than 1% of the global emission. So when we go there to say we are going for this climate summit, what are we going there for? The West, the North, not the West, the North to tell us that, oh, if you can control emission, we're going to give you some amount, we're going to pay off some of your debt. Now, you see, they are the contributors. They are the ones creating this problem. Their factories and whatever they do to produce, whatever they are producing, is the cause of the climate crisis that we're facing now. Right. And now we are going there to go and listen to them to tell us what to do. Why are they not telling us what they will do to stop the emission?
Does this amount to a misplacement of priority?
Of course it does.
If you look at us domestically with regards to climate change and the reality of our situation, whether it's facing desertification or deforestation concerns, we have an energy crisis right now where most Nigerians cannot afford cooking gas. They're now going to fuel wood, and we're addressing, talking about all of this problem. Is this one of those summits that we can easily, pin under a maybe, that doesn't require us to spend so much money to send hundreds, if not thousands of people to attend? Do you think this is a misplacement of priority?
To me, you see, when you listen to these activists who talk about climate change and whatsoever, you talk about what we are going to get, whatever they call credit carbon. I don't know. That's what Nigeria stands to get. And they are theorizing how Nigeria can make billions of dollars by planting trees, by doing this and by doing that. And these billions of dollars, I've not seen any country that got these billions of dollars. Even Kenya is doing a whole lot. I don't think they've got these billions of dollars. And even Kenya, that is even much more active, I don't think they have 1,411 delegates to their district. So this thing is just out there in the air, and we are telling us we can benefit, we can get billions. They are talking about 900 and something billion that are available that we can tap into. Now, and the persons who should give you this money are the persons who are causing the problem. They are the guys who will decide the terms and conditions, and they will tell you, you do what they say is not enough. So I'm feeling that it's a waste of money. We shouldn't be going for this kind of this number.
There was one particular incident, not particularly an incident, but one occasion at the summit. On the sidelines of the summit, you had two Nigerian agencies, the REA and NASENI, sign a memorandum of understanding on the sideline of the summit. They shook hands. There was a photo opportunity. They took part, and then Nigerians were wondering. I mean, they're just 20-something kilometers from their headquarters, from one headquarters to another here in Abuja, but they're doing this MOU signing in Dubai.
In Dubai.
What does that say about how the people in power view the reality of the situation? Because they like to talk about no money when they're trying to explain why Nigerians are suffering, but when it comes to fanciful events like this, apparently we can spare the change to sponsor it.
It beats my understanding, because I don't know why two Nigerian organizations will go and sign an MOU in Dubai. I mean, what is the need? They're just wasting resources. Like I said earlier, the body language, not just the body language, the activities of government, do not tell us what government tells us. You are telling us there's no money, but you are wasting a lot of resources.
But the presidency, are coming out to say that they can be able to defend this delegation. I mean, but we saw how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the ONGA insisted that he needed just few people to go with him. But then right now, the COP28 is on another level. So how special is this COP28? That's the way we need to ask that question. Nigerians are angry. How special is this, and what would Nigerians really truly feel the impact of this meeting?
I don't know. I don't think it should be a priority. If you look at what has gone into this COP28 and find out what we have gained since this campaign started, there's so much excitement about this climate thing. What have we really got apart from conferences?
You don't think it's our headache?
You
don't think the climate conversation, the climate global warming conversation is a headache to Nigeria?
To me, global warming is an issue. You understand? But it's not an issue that will take 1,411 Nigerians to Dubai. If we have this crowd in Nigeria to discuss it, and so this is a domestic problem, how do we deal with it? Right. It may even be more profitable than flying to Dubai to go. What are you doing there?
Obviously, it makes sense. Just to take a look at other headlines on the front page, if we can get your thoughts on, let's bring it home first before we talk about the Japa syndrome. NSCD personnel brutalizes Anambra journalist, says media is Nigeria's problem. Sadly, there are some Nigerians who can believe, because they think that the media has become polarized, has become... there's a lot of yellow journalism out there, sensationalized headlines and things like that. What are your thoughts about it? I mean,
well, if you read that story, I think you've not gone through that story. If you go through that story, what happened was this. You see, this journalist was moving from one part of Anambra to another. So he entered the same vehicle with the civil defense personnel. You understand? It wasn't about even a media event. They were in the same vehicle.
Right.
And this guy got to a place he wanted to stop. I said, look, this is where I want to stop. Then the NCDC guy said, no, all of us must get to the last bus stop. He said, no, you don't need to get to the last bus stop. This is where I want to stop. You understand? And the next thing was the the civil defense guys began to beat him up. You know, and then they say, oh, journalists are the problems of this country. You see, it's very sad. You know, it's very, very sad because if the NCDC, you know, the job of the NCDC is civil defense. It is just an irony. You are supposed to be defending the civil populace, the ordinary Nigerian. The civil defense guy is supposed to protect this journalist, not to brutalize him.
So this was a case of gaslighting. I mean, they did something, but they need to not make his word credible.
Yes.
That's why they had to put that statement out there.
To say
that
the media is a problem.
Yes, the problem. You understand? Because you are supposed to protect this man, but you are the one turning against him and attacking him. But you see, because if you look at, you know, most of the, what do I call them? The paramilitary organizations, they are drunk with power, you know, simply because they have this uniform and they have a measure of authority that, I mean, goes with the uniform that they wear. They get so excited about the kind of powers that they have. Because I don't see any reason, I don't see the connection between I want to stop here and the practice of journalism. And that tells you that, you see, a lot of people hate journalists, you know, because of what you said earlier. Actually, you brought up the argument clearly. That look, because journalists expose wrongdoings. You know, a whole lot of the wrongdoings are taking place, and journalists are the ones who, you know, who turn this, who broadcast this. So look, this cannot continue to happen. In fact, some of us call journalists, there's the biblical expression they use, the accusers of the brethren. You know, they see journalists are those who are their problem. You know, accusing those troublemakers. You know,
it's really sad when the truth is always you know, tried to be covered and blacklisted.
No, but I expect that the civil defense should, the authorities now should investigate and punish these guys. Because if they allow this to go without any sanction, then another civil defense officer will do it to another journalist.
And do you get the sense that people in uniform naturally, you know, feel this way about journalists? I mean, especially in light of NSAS, for instance, and everything that has happened.
You see, it's quite an irony. Many of them feel this way. But let me tell you something from my own experience as a journalist. When the police want anything done for them, they come to journalists or they go to journalists. On many occasions, policemen have told me, please, why don't you help us highlight this problem that we have with the authorities? I say, why? I say, no. If the authorities see it in the newspaper, that's when they will act. We will writing, we will appealing, using us on network, but unless it is there in the newspaper for the whole world to read, the people will not do anything.
How they get to information? So.
You know, so I'm surprised that even the civil defense man, if he wants to insist on his rights, if he's been denied of rights, he will come to journalists and say, please, help me publish that I'm being victimized. Yet, they are the people who are coming against journalists.
I want to take your opinion on this one. Over 60 refinery licenses are inactive in 18 years, and after, of course, as fuel import thrives. So what is your take on what is happening when it comes to this refinery sector? Because 1 minute the federal government are telling us the immediate plan, and the next minute there is this quietness, and we don't even know what exactly is going on.
Actually, I think the licenses were issued during the Obasanjo regime. And the idea then was to liberalize the downstream or the upstream sector, so that Nigerians can invest. But two things happened. One was that they didn't have the capital, you know, to invest in that sector, in drilling oil. They didn't have the capital to invest in that sector, drilling, or maybe even getting the right technology to refine products. That was one. Then the second was the cost. You know, at that time, they say it was not cost effective, you know, to refine products and sell at the controlled price. Now, I think this issue is coming up now, that government has a kind of liberalized it. I don't know whether increase the price of fuel, because there's still a lot of argument about whether we are paying the right price or the inflated price. But now the government has increased the price. I think some of the guys who licenses are now coming up, bringing out their licenses. But the major challenge at that time was that they didn't have the capital. To establish a refinery is a lot of money.
Yeah, but how do you get a license if you don't have, the capital?
Well, I think government was trying to say, let's do it local. And if a Teofilo Saba, could apply and maybe pay some millions of naira, you get the license. But the license is a sheet of paper, let me put it that way, until you have the capital, until you can attract foreign investors. Actually, to be able to do a refinery, you need a lot of funding from, you need a lot of foreign money that will come in, which in the form of maybe equipment, in form of cash, that you need to set up, the factory and all this and other, which many of them don't have. Yeah. I can imagine even the Dangote refinery took a lot of money. Even the federal government has 40% share in Dangote refinery, and also contributions from everywhere. So it's not really very easy to set up a refinery. But then we expect that now that the price of, the liter is gone up to about 600 or something, maybe it's becoming more profitable. And foreign investors, they want to come in. That's what I want to come in.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time, for giving us your thoughts on, of course, the front pages of the National Daily this morning. Thank you, Dr. Theophilus Appa,
the Program
Director of Daily Trust Foundation. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.